Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us on another Wednesday night with Getting to Know Marriage. I'm Dr. McPherson.
And I'm Gregory.
And tonight we are joined by another beautiful couple. You guys know we like to come not only with new information, but with new couples. Like we always say, we don't know everything. What we talk about is our opinion and things from our perspective. So having other couples join us is only more information, much more golden nuggets that we can use. So we would like for the new couples to join us and introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Khanya. I'm Kiza, married to...
I'm Justin. Sure.
That guy.
And we met, Khanya and I met in high school just a short time ago.
That's it.
Just a short time ago. We went to Girls High School in Philadelphia. Shout out to Girls High, class of 239.
Before
So we came from Girls High, but over the years, of course, not being physically in contact, thank goodness for social media, we've been able to stay in contact and kind of see what we have going on, watch each other grow, get married, have children, all those wonderful things. And tonight we want to talk about being married and really sticking to the till death do us part, dealing with those surprises that come even from a medical standpoint. And Khanya and Justin have been through some things in their lives. Will allow them to express and talk about what they've gone through. But we know that in our vows, that's the idea, till death do us part. And we really want to be committed to the promises that we're making, first and foremost, to ourselves, and then to that person that we've decided to spend the rest of our lives with. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about kind of what you went through and how you guys are dealing with it.
So
this is your story, you might as well.
Right. We've been married this year 17 years. In 2019, in August of 2019, I had a emergency tonsillectomy.
Okay.
Because I had a lump that had showed up overnight.
Yeah, I say we were in Dubai vacationing, and I started to see this like the lymph node under the doctors. It just started to get bigger and bigger to where it looked like just a swelling outside it. If you turn, you could see it,
Okay.
And again, what we also do, what we didn't say, is that we're voiceover actors these days. So this is a big deal for us. And we went to the doctor, and Justin was like, look, the tonsils are bothering me. Take them out. I don't need tonsils.
Right.
So we took the tonsils out, and the very next day they called.
Not very nice. It was like 3 days later.
Biopsy time. Enough time for them to get the biopsy.
A pathology on the tonsils, and then the doctor called me like, "Yo, you have tonsil cancer." First he was like, "Yo, is your wife around?" And I was like, "Oh shit."
Right. This can't be good.
Like I was like, "Oh man," you know what I mean? So I was like, "Yo, Khan, come in here," and you know what I'm saying? So he breaks it on down. He talks to me, and I'm like, initially, I'm just in shock. I'm like, I'm 40 years old.
We just turned 40.
I just turned 40. I'm like, what?
Wow.
I work out like 5 days a week. What you talking about?
Right. I'm healthy.
Teacher in class. What you talking about? Like, I got a sore throat. That's like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Nah. And like, and then they start breaking it down to me like, no, you actually have cancer, my dude. You know what I'm saying? And they break it down for me. They, at this point, when you hear that type of news, you just start Googling cancer.
Sure.
And you know what I'm saying? And you don't know that it's broken down to so many different categories and so many different cures for each cancer. You know what I'm saying? They break the body off into sections and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And so after I finished scaring the hell out of myself, you know what I'm saying? And then I met with my doctors and learned what type of cancer I had. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I started to feel better about my situation because I was not lucky to get cancer, but if you're lucky to get cancer, I got the type of cancer that has a 90% survival rate. So initially just hearing those numbers gave me a lot of confidence.
Right.
Like,
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So now I just got to get up in that 90%, right?
Right.
So, you know what I mean? I thought about that. And then, of course I thought about my family and, my kids and, you know what I mean? I never once thought that I would die. I
sure.
just wouldn't even, I would
from
just
cancer.
From cancer. You know what I mean? I always thought it would be like a shark attack or something. You know what I'm saying? Like my parachute ain't open.
Right. And you're a husband. So it's like, okay,
Cause I'm like, you know, I'm the dude, I'm like, I'm ever present around this piece, man. Like, I'm just, you know, I'm that dude around this house. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, getting people, I'm the thyroid, man. I'm like
Yes.
getting everybody to go. You know what I'm saying? So
As you should. Shout out to you for being a husband.
Yeah.
And so I got that news, then I got a PET scan, and I found out that was the next step of it, finding out if the cancer is local or if it's moved around your body.
Right.
Saying, which is the next big thing. And then I'll never forget that we was at the store and the doctor called me and was like, yo, it's all local. It's local where, you know what I mean? It's not moved. And I was like, all right, word.
That's another
Okay, bet.
good
Like, you know what I'm
thing.
saying? Because he could have been like, yo, what's in your brain? It's in your lungs. It's
Right.
in your colon. Like, so
Right.
so that was the first good news. And I was like, all right, bet. That was, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, cool. Then they told me about my treatment plans and stuff like that, which was
It was funny though, because I feel like when they started talking treatment plans, you know, okay, part of being a doctor is to like scare you into worst case scenario, right?
Of course,
But
first,
then there
yes.
was also this level of, you know, it's going to be a 6-week treatment. And then you get with somebody else, they like, it's 8 weeks. You're like, what happened to the 6-week treatment? I want the 6-week plan. Like, oh, you know, because you got this cancer, it's probably like stage 2. And then you get somebody like, oh, it's 4. And you're like,
yeah.
No.
You tell me it was 4. Like, what?
Yes.
What are you talking about? So like there were these little, you know, shockers along the way. Again, you got the cancer, so you're not gonna like 2 to 4. It's all cancer.
It's cancer.
It must go.
Right.
But it was definitely like, you know, these you know, you've braced yourself for the cancer, and then they say 4, and you're like,
yeah, you like
right.
what?
And emotionally, because I know that us women, we can be the more emotional ones. But being the husband, and being the one that was directly affected, if both of you can kind of tell us initially, what was that emotional thought, being a husband, being a wife, getting that news?
I was like, I was so afraid initially, like, oh my God, who gonna be the thyroid? Who gonna make it go? Like any slack need to get picked up, I'm picking it up. So
right.
Normally he picks up the slack,
like yeah, I mean,
you know, if I'm sleeping till like, bitch, you sleeping too late. Like, give me what are you doing? We got kids. You know what I'm saying? That guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm fun.
Yeah.
I'm having good times, you know.
You know
what I mean?
Right. You know, you gotta like buckle down, and also I think it's proving to your mate and proving to yourself that you can show up, because again, you know, like this isn't there's no rehearsal for it. There's no practice that you can do for a time like this. You really just get in the mode, and you just got to keep going because it must be done.
Yeah, and cheers to Khanya, because she really stepped up to, like, she became the thyroid of the family. Like she was that John, man. Like she was doing it all, like on and still managed to like put time into herself. Like her schedule went from being able to sleep late, where you know
late,
you know what I'm saying?
Y'all.
What you say?
I don't wake up. I mean, you know, on a regular day, if I didn't have kids, I'd be getting up at like 11:30 every day. You know, even going to bed at 9 o'clock. Like I love to sleep. I like to take a nap after I sleep. But I would start when he was in treatment. I would get up at 4 a.m., go work out, because that was the only time I could do it for me.
Right. And you have to maintain that, right? To be there for him.
Also processing my feelings. Because on that spin bike, I would cry. I would like heal myself. I would get angry at the cancer. I had all these emotions that I couldn't let out with him because he's sick. I couldn't talk to the kids because they're looking to me to be the light and the way.
Sure.
Exactly. So
meanwhile, but regarding the kids though, I told them after I got that phone call from the doctor, we told the kids like 5 minutes later.
Right.
Okay.
And I just was like, listen, their question was that, are you going to die? I was like, no.
Not from this.
Not from this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody dies, but I ain't going to die from this. I was like, but what you are going to see is you're going to see me get sicker before you see me get better. Because the medicine that they're going to have to give me is going to kill both me and the cancer, but I'm going to come back.
I like it with Harry Potter. in the 6th book where I don't know if you watch Harry Potter. I'm a big fan. But there's a moment where Dumbledore goes into this thing, and in order for him to go through and get the information he needed, he had to kind of kill himself. Yes. And that's what the treatment is like. You start off normal, like first 3 weeks, he looked like himself. 4th week, it started to beat him. 5th week, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Right.
6th week, he's like, why do I have to do this again? He got to a point in the treatment where he didn't want to take any pills anymore. Totally understandable. It's like this, and then you got to swallow, and the cancer's up in here. It all hurt. It's raw.
My treatment was
33 hits of radiation.
Yeah, 33 hits of radiation consecutively every day, and then I had chemotherapy every Tuesday all day long. So.
And then somewhere along the line, we found out that if you get a hydration, which is like you get hooked up to the things and they just run the saline, that also helps combat the chemotherapy and the radiation because he's just like depleted,
Okay.
But
so it's a constant shit. Right. Yeah. You have to figure it out on your own.
You have to figure it out on your own. Like talking to nurses, just being like extra proactive. Can I come in tomorrow? You
right.
Come if you want. Why didn't you tell me I could come in whenever I wanted?
Right. Right.
I kept asking, yo, so is my hair gonna fall out? Because I read up on chemotherapy. It's chemotherapy that'll take every hair follicle off your body. I'm talking your everything will fall, your eyebrows will fall out, all of that shit will fall out.
Okay.
And I was like, I kept asking, yo, like, yo, is my hair gonna fall out? Is my hair gonna fall out? Because I found there's many different types of chemo. There's different levels of chemo drugs and stuff like that. And it was like, they was like, no, you should be good. Like you're the type of chemo you got, people don't normally lose their hair. Now I don't rock hair on my head anyway, but I had like a nice full beard.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there like week 3.5, it's starting to hit me. I'm on the phone with my cousin in Philly. I did like this. Wipe my beard, just that smooth. Yo, I wiped the whole half.
After you were told it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, in my hand.
It looked like a baby's ass. It was so smooth. It was the newest, like
the newest, not the newest.
Who hooked you up? Like,
Yeah, it was the
wow.
That was a definite moment for me. Like at that moment, because I was starting to feel real sick from the chemo and the radiation together, and then I was sitting there, and then when I did that, I was like. Oh shit! My cousin was on the phone with me on FaceTime, like,
right.
Oh shit! And then I did
So now let me ask you this though: at any point, did it cause you to not necessarily doubt yourself, but doubt your marriage, doubt your confidence, your self-confidence, as it pertains to your marriage?
No, I think, in the beginning, in the very beginning, before it started, I thought, man, this is going to be, this is going to be heavy. It's going to be heavy on me, but it's going to be heavy on Khanya because like a nigga going to be like sleep. I'm going to be like in the bed. I'm going to be like, I'm going to be done. Like my body is like going to be, you know what I'm saying? So you got to handle everything. You got to handle everything. You got to handle, you got to do everything right now. Like, and take care of me. So for a moment in the beginning, I was like, yo, my gosh, that's going to be a lot on her. But as we went through it, it was like from me on my end, it was so seamless. I just heard whispers and conversations and like things going on around me, you know what I'm saying? And shit would show up. Like if I had to get out the bed, it was because the bed was being made and like sheets was getting changed. Like, and that shit would normally be happening when I was like in the shower. Like it was all like, you know what I'm saying? Like just going on around me. Like when
such an amazing thing.
Like she, you know what I mean? Like for 72 days, I didn't eat no food. I had a PICC line.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So then she having the nurse, her and the nurse working in tandem, going back and forth because we had to come in here every night for 72 days and hook me up every night. You know what I'm saying? A 3,000 calorie bag.
Right.
And yeah, she was, all that was seamless. She really like, you know what I mean? The other thing is, on even the transparent level, since we talking relationships and stuff, chemotherapy and radiation, your man will not work. I joked with the doctor. I said, the doctor was like, yeah, he was like, one of the side effects is, yo, you ain't gonna have no sex drive.
So that was the immediate concern. Like,
But I was
wait a
like, yo,
minute.
you don't know me and my wife, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, actually, we do. Let me tell y'all, we are on camera, and it's okay because we follow each other's Instagram.
okay.
I'm telling my husband this week we had to record with I think 3 couples. He's like, "Okay, who's tonight? The naked couple?" I'm like, "Yes, the naked couple."
You know what I'm saying? So, yo, during that, John, it wasn't working. Okay. Like, first of all, you feeling like it's like the hangover times
Yeah.
100. But you look down there, your man look back at you like, don't
Not
even look
today,
over here.
sir.
Bro.
Not
Don't
today.
even,
Keep going.
yeah.
Not today.
Yes.
Nah. I will pee and that is it. Don't ask me to
She
do
bringing
nothing.
you food, not us.
Don't even look over
You know what
here.
I'm saying? Like, for real. I was like, for real? He was like, yes. Leave me alone. We ain't doing
And
nothing.
so Kanya, and being creative and being loving and being a wife, the reality is these are things that you had to deal with, right?
I look forward to sex every day. So this
Right,
is
right.
like a whole face crack. But I mean, it was one of these things where I'm not thinking about the lack of sex in the moment.
Of
It would be
course.
like once I got everybody to bed, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
He's
you know,
still not ready.
like not ready, but like don't even look over here, and then also don't make him feel bad
Of
about the fact
course.
that we cannot have sex.
Of
Don't even say
course.
that you have these issues and these urges. I remember
Right.
reaching out to my girlfriends like, just one night of sex, just one time, just one time, yeah. And it's not gonna happen. And so, like, you know, you really have to, the for better or for worse, it comes in motion. But it was also just like I just looked at what I was bitching about, the lack of sex, when we're trying to fight a fucking death.
A
You trying
whole
to
life.
like
Absolutely.
yeah. It was just like, yeah, I can get over myself. At least I have to get over
Absolutely.
myself. At least if this is the one thing that I'm struggling with right now, like, and so be it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that speaks to, like you said, if this is the one thing, that says a lot about the marriage because oftentimes we see marriages fall apart, not so much because the other person got sick or because something happened, but because of everything that wasn't in place before someone got sick. All of the bullshit that was going on before that happened. And now you're trying to deal with illness and voids and fuck ups that you never even talked about, you know what I mean? And it's like it's no way to do all of that in the moment. So people don't realize the importance of maintaining on a daily. Not to say that things don't happen, but you're absolutely right. You got to stay present and deal with the present in order to be able to have that balance.
I'll say something
Go
too
ahead.
now. Along those lines, I had a friend. He had got sick. I think he had a stroke, and he was having some issues. Him and his wife was having issues, beforehand. And I would call him periodically, and check on him, see how he doing. And he would say things about his wife, like, why she not doing this for me? Why she not doing that for me? I'll say, well, what was going on beforehand, before you got sick? Was y'all on good terms before? He was like, well, nah. I say, what do we expect?
Yeah.
She didn't like you before you had the stroke.
And that's real.
Right. And now you done had the stroke. Now she got to take care of you.
Now she
So like she said, if it's not put in place beforehand, what can you expect during like, let's say, the war? Because that's
yeah.
what it is, or the battle. If you don't prepare your soldiers for the battle and it's time, it's gonna be a disaster.
And you mentioned a really important word. Before we had cancer, we always talk about like, and like is so important in a relationship because love is fleeting.
But
It's a nice thing. It's cute, but
It
you can
is.
fall out of love. Like
yeah.
means that you're willing to push past the rough spots. You like them.
Absolutely.
You want to make it work.
Right.
And so I will say that the like was the part that helped us through all of this because I think with a terminal illness of any kind, the patient isn't always nice. Not that he was mean to me or saying mean shit. He just was upset and fighting this monster out of his body. So, there were some moments where he'd be short or he'd be curt, or I felt like he was abrasive, and it'd be like, that's that fucking cancer, and I'm gonna kill that motherfucker. Get that motherfucker out.
Exactly.
That's not even you. You know what I mean? You just kind of have to remember that that's the beast we're fighting. That's it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And that's so important. And we talk to people and tell them that all the time. You should not be attacking each other. You should be attacking the issue, whether it's cancer, whether it's poor communication, whether it's, lack of time or energy. You have to attack the issue and not each other. Because, I mean, once you start doing that, you're guaranteed to destroy your marriage. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's just a matter of time. Right. And a lot of people look and feel like, and I'm sure you guys experience the same thing. They see what your marriage really is, because what you see on social media is what you get. But then they feel like that means there's no process in that. Like you just look like this all the time. No. We definitely had to get through a big cuss out, but we had to get through it. You know what I mean? That was this morning. That's not all for the rest of our lives. We had to work through that before we left. But we're here now, But a lot of times people feel like you can just sweep it under the rug and keep it going and don't argue. We don't argue. People say that we don't argue. We don't ever have disagreements. Okay, well then this is not a healthy marriage. Something's wrong.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Right.
This is not right. So, but you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid.
I was just gonna say I've heard them too. The ones that don't argue, don't ever, and you when you say it, it sounds good. We don't ever argue because we so happy. You know what I'm saying? We don't ever argue, but in actuality, you got to have those arguments. And we always talk about arguments or not is not necessarily a bad thing. An argument. It's just two people with differences, and you come into a common ground. That's all it is.
Right. And understand that you got to do it in court. You got to do it wherever you go. So you need to be understood. You need to go ahead and argue your point.
At least so that we can make the future better, because these are the rubs.
That's it.
That happen.
We do
this.
If you're not arguing, then either he's doing what you say or you doing what he said. Either way.
We say
Go ahead.
That we like to say that in an argument, if you can be changed in the argument, then you just won the argument. Like if the other person can drop some knowledge on you to make you change your point of view, you just won the argument. That's how we say it. What I'm saying? Get our mind trick. You just won the argument.
Because 9 times out of 10, you're coming in it to prove your point. But if you can lower your ego and allow yourself to hear exactly
what
the person is saying and digest it to where you now agree and have a changed perspective, then oh my God,
that's a huge win.
That a gift?
I like that. I really do like that, because that means that you put in, if I'm understanding correctly, that means that you've put in enough to become yet more understanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now,
remember, you came in the argument to win. You came in the argument to change somebody else's mind. So you're already not in a place to listen. But part of arguing and going back and forth with the person is about listening. It's about digesting and hearing them. Sometimes you talk, you're not listening, you're not hearing a person. But if you can hear and then go, whoa, I see.
Right.
I didn't see. I agree.
You're right. You are right. And then we do get to those points. Never really broke it down like that, but where it's like, you know what? You're right. I never thought about it like that. Especially to those of you watching, if you are a woman like me, I will be honest, my mouth says what it wants to say, and I'm okay with that. But I'm also very open to hear, right? So once you start talking, then I'm like, and I'm also that person that says, no, don't hold back. Tell me, because I want to know. I might be wrong, but I feel like I know it all, but I might be wrong. So let me hear what you got to say. And that's good. I mean, it's definitely necessary for marriages to work. And one of the things that you brought up, before we kind of finish this up, we were talking, you were mentioning, because we're in relationships, one thing we always tell people, if there's a disconnect in your intimacy, your physical intimacy, right, there's probably a disconnect in your relationship period, be it your communication, again, the time you spend together, the information that you know about each other. What would you guys say to the what's the word I want? The connection between physical intimacy and a healthy marriage?
You want to go first?
Let me digest that question.
I can go.
Yeah, go.
So the way I would explain it is, I once worked with an Orthodox Jewish rabbi, like he had the tzitzis and everything, right?
Okay.
And he was like, yo, I never touched my wife, not even touched her hand until we were married. And this was like, I was like 21 years old at the time. And I was like, what? Stop. Like, you never touched her? Like, not at all. Like, he was like, not even her hand. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna be really frank with you. So how did you anticipate, or how did you think the sex would be, the intimacy would be between you?
Right.
He said, well, we did a lot of talking beforehand. We did a lot of communicating. And so if the communication is good, then the sex will be good. That's how we manage that. So the communication was very good between the two of us. So I knew the sex would be good. Now, this rabbi had lived a whole life before he had become a rabbi. So he knew a premarital sex and drinking and having a good time and partying and all of Babylon.
Right.
Okay. But this was still his, you know what I'm saying? And we talked about the fact he'd been with other women and things like that, but still the communication, he had built such great communication with this one that the sex is, yeah, he wouldn't get into that, but of course he alluded to the fact that communication
that is matched up.
And so I think that's important. I'm one of those people who is, I think I know it all, but I'm always like,
he does.
But I'm always like, listen, I want to be changed though. Please prove your point. I will help you solve your point, because if you've got the right answer, then let's go with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm all about like the communication. I want to know what you think. I'll even say what I think you think, to like bait you to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, we'll get all psychic and metaphysical, like well, my spirit is telling me.
My spirit told
me. Right.
That's how you feel. Okay, you holding back from my ego.
Right.
You think I can't hear you, but it feels like. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. And is that where you get stuck, Khanya?
Yeah, I'm saying like.
No, I mean, you know, again, we do that to each other.
Yeah.
Got you.
You know, we're intense equally that way. I think that's probably why we're together. I don't think anybody who's dated us enjoyed that part of us.
Right.
I don't know what you're thinking. Right. I know when you wake up in the morning, what was that dream about?
Right.
I saw you was over there and lost in thought. What was you thinking? You know, and I don't
your eyebrow raised a little.
Bounce that shit like, whoa, bend over and bust it open. I don't care. That's not like a threat to me.
Of course.
I'm nosy and I'm intense, and I want to be in your bloodstream, and like, no, just so I can know. But what I would say, you know, I think, you know, bridging the intimacy and the relationship part is about, it's a choice. You don't have to be in a relationship with anybody. You don't have to do this.
Absolutely.
You want to do it. And that want makes you want to be good in a relationship. It makes you want to not go to bed angry. I know that whole thing of we're not going to go to bed angry. It's a beautiful idea. Sometimes you do go to bed angry.
Right. You tried your best, or you didn't that day, right?
You know, and maybe, you know, cooler heads can prevail in the morning type thing, you know, or you kick them in the middle of the night and it's like, what was that? Nigga, let's talk, right? But I definitely think that if you're still present about the fact that you're choosing to do this, and death do us part is not as much of a choice as the active relationship that I have with myself, where I choose to do this
every morning.
Absolutely.
Every day,
and
whatever it comes with. Cancer, you know, I'm not in an abusive relationship, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm free in this relationship to say exactly what I think, even if it sounds fucked up. I mean,
absolutely.
And to do, you know, again, like, I can't even think of what I could do in this relationship where just be like, well, where the hell did that come from? I mean, maybe if I stepped out, but again, with what time, you know, all of that, like those deviant extracurricular activities, they take a lot of time.
Like, when?
But they take a lot of time and planning. You know,
was I? Yeah.
But again, he's used to my 100% in the family. So then, like, it wouldn't be a secret, for crying out loud.
Like, you were fucking somebody in the supermarket parking lot?
Had to, because I know how long it takes you to get home from these groceries.
Right.
You know
and then the other side of that is, if you have the connection, like you said, you guys have, I know with us, a lot of times, not only do you have to, now I don't want to say worry about, but it's so much for you to keep inside. Even if, I know for me, even if it's something that I did wrong, I I can't even keep it long enough. Like, babe, guess what? Anyway, sorry, because we have that type of connection. You're not going to be able to look at me, and I'm not going to be able to play this off. So I might as well just tell you before it even gets there.
That's because that's the liking part. Because if you didn't like them, you'd be like, you found it if you found out.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So advice for our couples that are watching us, just any, and it pertaining to anything, whatever comes to mind. Advice for married couples, young, old, anybody watching us. What do you think is important to leave with them?
Brutal honesty. You
Mm,
may not like it, but I definitely will say that you got to be so honest with yourself. If you're honest with yourself, then you can say it because it's your truth and you've already accepted it. But like, if you can't handle brutal honesty, then maybe relationships aren't for you. You need to just be single for the rest of your life, because that's what it is about. It's honesty with yourself. How can someone tell you that they're not pleased by your behavior if you don't even know that you be behaving like that?
mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
No,
I
no,
know
no.
I'm a party
Absolutely.
girl. Like literally, like when
Absolutely.
Justin found out that we were dealing with cancer, like there was a party in the house. He was like, "Nigga, you're drunk. I'm trying to talk to you." Like there was a lot of shit going on. I had to really like, but you can't have this conversation with somebody who's not trying to hear that they just
That's
be,
who you are.
that's who
That's
you
right.
are. That's the
That's
truth
right.
of the matter, right? So shit's got to change in order for us to go through this new journey. But we can't have that conversation if he can't tell me uh something that's not flattering about myself, or his truth or what he feels, and it's not flattering to the
Absolutely.
relationship. The brutal honesty, I'd say, I think a lot of people shy away from it, but I say it's what's kept us these 20 years.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
I would agree and say it's honesty. You got people, it starts with being honest with yourself. If you know your own truth, then you know what you like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what you're into, already told your mama what you think so that she ain't in the business no more. She ain't trying to choose your woman for you. You know what I'm saying? She ain't even having to move things forward. That allows a space for your wife to be the queen and to work her magic. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's for me. It's the honesty. It's the honesty. Being honest with yourself.
I would also just want to chime in that spectators are probably the biggest killers of relationships. When you have an argument with your man, your spouse, and you go tell your girlfriend before discussing it with the one that you actually upset, when you call your mom and tell them the dirt in your
Right. Right.
relationship, and now they hate them more than you do because you went back, and it's like, it's got to stay right here. I
Right.
would advise anybody young in their marriage or just dating, when you having that fight, lock the fucking doors. Ain't nobody leaving this motherfucking house.
And
We
even
Until
go,
we figure it out.
and even if you do leave the house, if you want to call somebody, pick up the phone and call that Negro, and you have it out with him, and then you can hang up the phone. And if you need to have it out again, then you call him back up and you give him
Right.
all that
Right.
power. Don't call your girlfriend, because what happens is you called your girlfriend or he called his friend and he let off to his friend, and now he done let some of that steam off, but the issue still remains. So when he comes back,
Right.
now y'all are able somehow to live a lie and act like
Right.
it's
because you
wrong
got it off.
because he got it off with it.
Exactly.
But
And
not
or
really. But
right.
not really.
And,
Because he
or
ain't get it off with the
you
person he needed to get
realize
it
that
off with.
it wasn't that deep anyway. It was just a moment
Yeah.
versus, something that's going to be a memory for a lifetime. And those people that you have told, they've decided to make it a memory for a lifetime. And you're like, wait,
Right.
what are you talking about?
Right.
Oh,
That was
you
20
remember
years
he
ago.
said, no,
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
I
And you
was
have
just
now
mad.
entertained them with your marriage and your story, and now giving them a reason to feel like they can speak about it. Y'all don't know
Absolutely.
us.
Right.
Absolutely. Not, look, don't talk about mine to me. Don't do it.
Right.
Don't
You
do
know what I'm
it.
saying? Yeah.
That's awesome. Anything you want to say before we finish up?
Let's see. My advice would be to finish the fight. That's my thing. Finish
Yes. Yeah.
the fight
Yeah.
because it's hard going through it. It's always hard going through it, but when you get through it and you look back, you grow from it.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Because you're able to talk about it. And when you're able to talk about it, then like I said, you're able to grow from it and get an understanding, and you feel that it's almost like you feel closer.
mm-hmm.
once you once you go through that disagreement, but now that you done talked about it, hashed it out, it's like you feel tighter.
Right.
You feel
Right.
like a tighter bond that you didn't even think you could get, to be honest with you. But stay in it till the end. Fight to the finish.
Yes.
Finish the fight. Let them fight. Let them
I
fight.
love it. I love it. And I won't add any additional advice, but just to what Gregory just said, from personal experience, both of us have been married before, in long-term marriages. I was married for 20 years. He was married for 12 years. But at the end of the day, coming into this marriage, there was first we had to both understand, like y'all both said, the honesty. Okay, we went through this bullshit before. This what you need to know. We're gonna be together. We're gonna be real. Like if we don't like it, so what? And if it don't take us to marriage, so what? But we gotta be real. And then, like he said, finishing that fight because of my past experience, being the emotional female, it was like certain things I tiptoed around because I didn't want another divorce. But he would constantly say, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I already told you I'm not going nowhere. And then when shit started getting real and he really didn't go nowhere, it was like, oh, well, next time I'm going to just say what I want to say from the beginning. Because we could have got over that 2 days ago.
Right.
Right.
And that's what the trust that you guys have, because you know, we don't have that trust to know that and I guess that comes overnight. I mean, we all have baggage.
That doesn't come overnight. You
does
think it
it?
comes overnight? Oh. I guess it does.
For me, I'm a child of divorce, right? I'm a child of divorce, and when my mom got remarried, my stepfather was also in his second marriage. So like arguments for me were a big thing. Like, oh, nigga, you about to leave?
Right.
Is this it? Is this it? You know what I'm saying? But
they can't leave you if you go with them.
He's not a child of divorce. He's like a serial monogamous with long-standing monogamous. Parents are still married. Grandparents was married. Like, everybody married. You know, like, and they be married. You know what I'm saying? So like, I wasn't used to that. You know what I'm saying?
Happy marriages and sad marriages, all through my family.
This marriages though, right?
Right, but you have to trust that, like, that he's not going to leave, because again, for me, it was like an argument. Oh, I know where this goes.
Exactly.
I know it ends, you know, and that was a baggage, something that I had to really. I think it took a little longer for that because it's your brain. It doesn't even exist. Something you create. It's a narrative that you literally create in your baggage pack.
And
when I let that go, I realized
to live there.
Yeah, definitely.
The funny thing about that is that you're actually, because you are a child of divorce, you're actually more likely to divorce. I'm actually more likely to stay in a bad marriage.
See, that's the bullshit.
I just refuse to do it. But you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Because I've seen in my family, I've seen all marriages from the gambit. You know what I'm saying? Long, short, good ones, sad ones that been married for years and hate each other, ones been married for years and love each other. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
And I think for all those of you who are watching, just make sure what we tell everybody is just make sure you are at peace. Make sure you are happy with your decisions. What we do, how we do our marriage, how they do their marriage is what works for us. And you can definitely glean from some of our principles and maybe, you know, some of the specific things that we do. But at the end of the day, it really is about what makes you and your spouse happy. So I'm Tika.
And I'm Gregory.
And this is Justin and Khanya. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate you guys sharing your story, sharing your love. And we know that love is contagious. So those who are watching us will definitely glean from it. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us.
I'm so proud of you. You are so awesome. And so great. You are a strong ass woman. This one right here is super freaking strong and very sound. And very
Thank you. I appreciate and trust. Like I told you, Khanya, we watch y'all. We definitely get y'all energy for sure. Proud of you guys. Keep pushing. We are keeping you in our thoughts and prayers. Your children keep going. We know y'all not gonna give up.
Yeah.
And I'm cancer free. I've been a year free. I'll be 2 years free in September. Y'all.
Yes. Good stuff. And maybe we'll get to California to hang out one day.
Yes.
Y'all take care.
See you guys later.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much.
All
You're
right.
welcome.